What's going on, fellow A pluses? Your boy Adam Perez is back with a brand new video today as we have got to talk about a massive announcement and a huge shakeup that's about to happen when it comes to Lucasfilm, as Puck News is in fact reporting that apparently Kathleen Kennedy is set to go ahead and step down as the head of Lucasfilm, as she's aiming for retirement at the end of this year. That's right, the end of 2025. If the reports are true, Kathleen Kennedy will in fact be going on retirement and leaving things behind. Now, I'm sure that there's a segment of you guys out there that probably popping bottles right now in celebration and dousing yourself in champagne like it just won the Super Bowl or something like that in regards to her departure. I personally have always thought Kathleen Kennedy was more than exceptional and an incredible producer. I think she's definitely going to go down in Hall of Fame as one of the best producers in Hollywood ever, if you just look at some of her incredible work. But when it comes to her being the head of Lucasfilm and being the president and the decisions that she's had to make since taking over really the Star Wars franchise and Lucasfilm, it's been very hit or miss for her. I was a really staunch supporter of Kathleen Kennedy for a really long time, but even myself could not ignore the idea of just the mishaps that have happened when it comes to Lucasfilm, whether that be putting out mediocre content from time to time, or really just having the inability to communicate and share a vision with some of the creators, and just being very reactionary and not pulling the trigger on a lot of projects out of fear. And so at this particular point in time, I am okay with Kathleen Kennedy's departure. It probably has been a long time coming. And at the end of 2025, again, if reports are true and she is in fact set to retire, this will be Kathleen Kennedy's final year. So the big question is, and the reason for this particular video is, if Kathleen Kennedy is out, who is going to be in? And I wanted to bring this up because I've been seeing rumblings, I've been hearing things already online in regards to a potential top two, top three, and possibly in consideration. Who knows? Maybe Lucasfilm surprises us with a dark horse that nobody certainly saw coming. But I wanted to give my 2 cents in this video and explain to you why the person that should be taking over head of Lucasfilm is none other than Jon Favreau himself. That's right. Jon Favreau, to me, I think is almost lined up for this job. But again, this is simply just my A plus opinions. I definitely want to know yours in regards to who you think should certainly take over. If you think it should be an outside name, a fresh take, somebody that knows the ins and outs of Star Wars to maybe come in and be the head of Lucasfilm. I am curious to know your guys' thoughts. But if I had to pick anybody out of people that are familiar with how things work behind the scenes and in Hollywood in general, for me, Jon Favreau feels very much like the layup here. Looking at his career, not only has he been an actor, but he's also been a writer. He's also been a director. He's also been a producer and an executive producer on several different projects in and outside of Star Wars. And I just think he has the wherewithal and the ability to bring creators in from outside. He's built up ton of relationships, certainly in Hollywood. People seem to love Jon Favreau. He's got a mind for Star Wars. He loves playing in this Lucas sort of sandbox, if you will, in regards to this galaxy. And I think he's done some incredible things in his career. He's also worked with Marvel Studios, which I think is a leg up for him in regards to having worked under Kevin Feige, seeing how to make a cinematic universe, how to build movies to build up to a big event sort of film. He's been in the comic book realm before in directing Iron Man's 1 and 2. And I think when you've had that sort of tutelage under Kevin Feige, very similar to that of like James Gunn, who's now out there running DC Studios, the idea of Jon Favreau, with all the years of experience that he's had in regards to making films in general, I think if there's anybody that can navigate all the different IPs and all the different creative talent that's going to come through Lucasfilm, I think Jon Favreau is certainly more than capable of doing that particular job. We also have to remember Jon Favreau is the first person to give us a live action Star Wars television series. When it was announced, it brought a community and an entire fandom together with the release of The Mandalorian. And regardless of how you have felt about maybe season 3 of The Mandalorian not being as good as the first two, take into consideration that this man has given us some very prominent and important figures in Star Wars, and he's had some really compelling storytelling, regardless of how you felt about season 3. And mind you, he is also going to be the first person to give us a Star Wars movie after the sequel trilogy, one that I'm really looking forward to in The Mandalorian and Grogu, as we've been patiently waiting for the release of Star Wars on the big screen, and it's going to be Jon Favreau that's going to go ahead and give it to us. So I think he's just been a really important role player so far when it comes to Lucasfilm. Him working alongside Dave Filoni, I think, has been really great for the franchise in general. And it's one that I think could easily continue if you have him as the head of Lucasfilm and Dave Filoni continuing to do his chief creative officer work. Considering the fact that these two have worked closely together, they have given us some gems, to certainly say the least. Granted, not everything has been fantastic, but I feel like if Jon Favreau is connected to it, is an opportunity that you can actually trust that the product is gonna get made with care and certainly attention behind it. So for me, the easy answer for this is Jon Favreau for me. I think he's been molded to go ahead and take care of this. He's had a long history when it comes to Hollywood, and again, people like that love this world. I think he can bring in other directors, other creators, not be afraid to not step on people's toes and let the creators create, and also be one to not be reactionary in regards to telling the stories that you certainly want to tell. I know that there are a couple other suggestions out there, like a Kevin Feige, and while Kevin Feige definitely has everything that it would take to certainly make a Star Wars be head of Lucasfilm, I think he would do wonders for this franchise. I just don't know if he's completely done with Marvel Studios yet. I feel like he certainly has more that he wants to do in regards to ushering in the Mutants, the Fantastic Four, Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, and really sort of get the MCU rebooted in some capacity here within the next 5 to 7 years or something like that. So I don't necessarily know if Kevin Feige wants to juggle both Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios right now. So I don't know if Kevin Feige is somebody that they're eyeing. And when it comes to Dave Filoni, while I do think that he's great creatively, I think Dave Filoni definitely has a lot of work. The idea of being in the position that Kathleen Kennedy is in requires a lot more than just being a creative genius like Dave Filoni certainly is. I do think that he needs more experience in the live action realm. He still has a lot to prove in regards to going from animation to live action, and I just don't know if he has that gravitas yet to be in that position to just control all the elements that are in fact in play when it comes to being the head of Lucasfilm as of yet. So maybe in another 10-15 years Dave Filoni will find himself in that position, but right now I think somebody that's easy to just put in that position, that knows the ins and outs not only of Lucasfilm and how things are certainly run, how the machine works as a well-oiled machine behind the scenes, but has done it countless times when it comes to being in movies and in Hollywood in general and making films come to life. My answer would certainly be Jon Favreau. If I had to give a dark gem, like a dark horse, I should say, somebody that's on the outside looking in regards to a fresh face to bringing in, his name has kind of been dropped already when it comes to Star Wars, and he's put together and built a franchise. Some hits, some misses, but some excellent films in between there. Don't sleep on somebody like, say, a Simon Kinberg from Fox, who was the orchestra behind the X-Men franchise for a very long time. I mean, the first X-Men, X2, First Class, Days of Future Past, the Deadpool movies. I mean, the list goes on in regards to what he's been able to give us. Some stinkers for sure, but the ability to put together a franchise coherently, keep it together for as long as he certainly did. Simon Kinberg wouldn't not surprise me if he's a dark horse if you're looking for like a fresh face to take over Star Wars. He's a big Star Wars fan also, so keep that name in mind also. But my first runner up is easily Jon Favreau, and I'll be interested to see who Lucasfilm picks. But look, these are simply my A+ opinions. I want to know yours. Who would you like to see take over the head of Lucasfilm? Any of the people that I named, anybody else in particular that you have in mind? I definitely want to know your thoughts in your case as to why they should be taking over that position. But in the meantime, do me a big favor, as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.